right, we're here with Mark Robertson from NEO, the Home Loan Collective. Mark is our preferred lender. NEO is based out of Encinitas, and I have to say, Mark, you're one of the smartest people I've ever met when it comes to the mortgage industry, the levers and pulleys that operate that, and how to kind of see through the fog. And I wonder if you could just take a few minutes to talk to the viewers about this market and about where you see it going.
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you so much. It seriously means a lot to me. I'm flattered. It makes me a little uncomfortable just hearing you say that. But yeah, I think the biggest misconception right now, Daron, is the possible opportunity that exists in the market, especially for buyers. If people are unhappy with their home and they know that they're going to be moving anyway, a lot of us, and I say us because it's certainly applicable to me too, just feel like it is prohibitive with where interest rates are right now. I think the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac mortgage as of the date of us doing this is down in the 6.5 6.6 range, and just 3 days ago it was 7%. And I would like to just challenge the traditional thinking on that. I think, and the reason I bring this forward is because I think it's so pertinent right now, regardless of who you are, just in the marketplace. And I'm giving this advice to my family, my friends. I'm following the advice myself, and that is, while I can't predict what's going to happen in the market, I'm pretty certain that these interest rates are going to come down. And so the question that I've been asking a lot of real estate professionals, all of my clients, is, right now we're at 6.625%. And if tomorrow, interest rates were at 5%, let's say, what do you think is going to happen, Daron? You are really close to the market. You're really close to inventory. But what do you think is going to happen, candidly, right? Don't pull any punches, but just between you and I, with San Diego real estate and prices, specifically?
Well, I think a couple things happen. All the people that are on the sidelines right now, waiting for that to happen, come back to the market. With the limited supply we have, I think the increased demand puts a lot of pressure on that, with multiple offers and offers above list. And I believe that drives prices up almost immediately.
Yeah. And I agree with you, by the way, and I've asked hundreds of both clients and real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, realtors across the country, and every single one of them says the same exact thing as you. And so because you said that, and because of all these people that said that, I think the possibility of that happening is very strong. I think, in this year, in the next 6 months, we'll see interest rates, I believe, come down, to the mid-5 range. And just over the last 3 days, they've come from 7 to 6.5. So that's a half a point, that rates have gone down. And I'm not just saying this based on feeling. And on November 10th, we got favorable inflation data, meaning that inflation had come down. And we saw the biggest rate drop that we've seen since the 1980s. Subsequently, in December, we saw mortgage applications rise 26%. In January, we saw pending home sales rise. And that's not typically a season where we see pending home sales, go up. That's typically a depressed season. And so, when people hear that the Fed is raising rates, I think they think they're raising mortgage interest rates, especially because right now mortgage interest rates are so high. But every time the Fed is raising rates, what they're doing is raising the federal funds rate, not mortgage rates. And that makes the rate on your credit card go up. It makes it more expensive. And I'm oversimplifying, right? But when the Fed does that, it makes it more expensive to buy things in our economy. And their hope is that people will stop buying things in the economy. They want the economy to cool off and those prices to come down. That's deflation, pricing coming down. And that's what they're trying to induce by raising these rates. And so, just to make the concept simple, if they're successful, inflation should come down. And when inflation comes down, mortgage rates come down. And that's why we had the biggest interest rate decrease that week of November 10th when we got favorable inflation data. And so if I'm a consumer, I'm thinking, there's an impending recession, rates are really high, I'm just going to wait. Because recessions means that housing prices are going to come down. I think, and recessions prices do come down. But surprisingly, housing fares very well in a recession. And so why is that? It's because of what we just talked about. If rates come down, then I believe, you believe, every client that I've taught, hundreds of clients that I've financed, they all believe the same thing. If rates come down, market's going crazy. We're going to have multiple offers. If that happens, then housing prices are going to stabilize, maybe even accelerate. And so for people that are trying now, so just to oversimplify and then recap what we just said, right? If what I want people to understand out there is there's a lot of doom and gloom. And there's just as much data, if not more, there's overwhelming data that suggests that rates are going to come down. If rates come down, I believe prices are going to stabilize. And we've just kind of talked about that. So it would behoove a client if they could make the payment. Now, there's some people just can't make a payment at 7%, 8% on a mortgage. And I get that. You've got to wait. There's nothing else you can do, besides maybe doing a seller buy down where, you can use the seller's money if you can get the seller to give you a credit and get an interest rate that's 3% below that sometimes. So if a rate's 7%, 6%, 5%, 4% rates right now. There's great strategies around that to make it more affordable right now. So that's one way to tackle the affordability issue, but some people just can't do it, right? And so they're going to wait for that to come down. But if you can afford the payment, it's just kind of scary to do it. Then one thing I would want people to consider is everyone's scared to get in right now because of these payments. And so if you take advantage of getting in right now and then mortgage rates drop, you can always call your preferred lender. They can do a refinance. A refinance might cost you $3,000 to $4,000. Most of us do them at no cost, which just means that the rate is high enough to pay the banks and everybody else. So they'll take a higher rate, pay for all the costs of doing the transaction, lender, escrow, title appraisal. So it doesn't cost you anything and it still lowers your interest rate. But then if everyone jumps in the market and you've gone in before everybody did that, before rates come down, and then everyone jumps in the market and prices accelerate, you've just made that, whatever pricing goes up and accelerates, you've just made that equity in your home and you can lower the interest rate. And I think, this is one of those unique opportunities that I just can't recall the data being so overwhelming that this is very probable to have it to happen. And, I'm not saying I'm Amadeus and I can predict the future at all. I just think that, the Fed is going to be successful at bringing inflation down. And if that happens, we should see mortgage rates come down. And so I don't think it's necessarily going to be easier to get a house at that point, and houses could cost a lot more at that point.
Right. Mark, you've been very generous with speaking to some of our clients, for consultations as they're wrestling with this data. How can people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Yeah, my just giving a call, a text, an email is the best way to get a hold of me. And I would say we're really passionate about empowering people, making sure that this data is simple enough that they can understand it. And even what we've covered today is probably too complex for a lot of people, but we're really good at just showing people the data, really explaining it to them. And, I would encourage, whether it's me or someone else that's really good with this concept, just understanding it. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to have a credit hit, which a lot of people don't want to do, to just put a plan together. And that way you're just more aware of the opportunity that's out there, because I believe that housing could be one of the few safe places to invest here over the next couple of years.
Gotcha. What phone number would you want them to call?
858-401-9353 is my personal cell, and you can text me or call me there. I'm happy to help.
Is there an email address or I'm sorry, email and a website?
Yeah, Mark at homeloancollective.com. That's Mark with a K at homeloancollective.com. And our website is homeloancollective.com.
Okay, I'll post that for everybody so they can get in touch with you. Mark, thank you very much. You've been a wonderful partner through my time in real estate, and I really appreciate your knowledge and your willingness to share it with everybody.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. It's really a pleasure to do it. I'm really passionate about just helping families understand home ownership and you know, the amazing blessing it can be, you know, both financially and just emotionally, you know, to have a house of your own here in San Diego. I believe it's a great investment.
It's the first step in building generational wealth, I think.
For sure, man.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. Be well, buddy.